Good morning. Uh, don't mind me hesitating. There's just so much on my mind and so much that I want to share. Sorry, with everyone. But today I'm going to share with you just for a few minutes some experiences that I've been having with my son. My son just turned 18 on August 19th. And he is really, as I've said many times in my past, he's the second best thing I've done in my life. The first is giving my life to the Lord. And surely the second is having my son, Tyron. And as he matures and as he grows, and of course he's got the teenage issues and the teenage issues, as well as the itches that sometimes pops up in him, and he says things that I said, well, if you keep talking that way, we're going to have a little problem here. But for the most part, I have to say that God is supremely kind to me. And my son, for being 18 years old, I thank God. I've rededicated him to the Lord. I've given him back to him, especially when there are issues that are difficult for me with my son. I've rededicated him to the Lord because I know that with him, all things are not just possible. All things are wonderful. Not perfect, but wonderful. I mean, nothing can be perfect with a human being involved, and I am a human being. But Tyron says things to me at times that just blows my mind and confirms my and our relationship with the Lord. For instance, some time ago he said to me, Mom, you know, he just gotten a job, and he said, Mom, you know, I've asked the Lord to help me, that when I become successful, that I won't begin to boast. He said, I know how I am. I know how I can be. And so I've already prayed and asked the Lord to help me not to boast because I'm successful. Blew me out of the water. Just totally blew me out of the water. And I thought, wow, what an awesome God that we serve. That my son could just, the fact that he would even pray about it, the fact that he would acknowledge that he knows that he can be boastful, that he says, I know how I am. There are people in their 40s and 30s and 50s and 60s and 70s who would never say something like that. So I am greatly blessed that my son at age 18 could even recognize in himself his capability to be foolish and to be boastful, and then take the next step to ask the Lord to help him not to do so. My God, my God. And then sometime this week on his job, they've given him a lot of hours to work because, and let me tell you, any boasting that I do here, I'm boasting in the Lord. Because when I tell you, he has been our father, our husband, our mother, our friend, our sister, brother, especially in the last 4 years of my son and my life, my sons and my life. He has just been everything to us. So anything good that my son says or does, it's because of him. Anything that I say or do is because of him. There's nothing good in me that does not come from the Lord. So anytime I say these things to you, it is because I'm giving testimony and I am grateful. And I want the world to know what an awesome and wonderful God that we serve. My Abba Father. So he said to me this week, I said, Tyron, be careful, because of his work ethic, he's a very hard worker. He believes in giving his best, and you know, he's picked up some of my negatives, but he's also picked up some of my positives, and that's one of them. He likes to work, and he likes money, which he's getting to learn that it's not about liking money. It's about liking what you do and making money from it, and that money is not just to help him. He's learning that. Some adults don't know that. He's learning that money is not just to help him, it's to help others. So he said to me, I said, Tyron, be careful. They're giving you a lot of hours because they have been very impressed with his work ethic. They have apparently told him they're going to speak to the big guy, which I know who the big guy is, the real big guy. But they're going to speak to the top manager, whomever, to mention his name because of his work ethic. And so he said to me, I said, Taryn, are you sure that you're not working too many hours? This is your last year in school. You're graduating next year. You want to be sure that you have your classes, your courses, your grades have to be up to par. You're going on to college. If you have not worked all this time and all the financial difficulties that mom has been through, and you didn't have to work then and we made it through, you don't have to do this now. So I said, be careful. Ask them if they can take one of the days away, because he's working just about 6 days a week and going to 7 classes. So he says to me, Mom, I've been thinking about that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask them about let me have Mondays off. He said, but what concerns me is that they're short-staffed. They are short-staffed. And I would rather wait until they hire the 2 other guys they're planning to hire. Because I do the closing. 18 years old. He says, I do the closing. And they're dependent on me. And I don't want them to be short-staffed. So when they bring the 2 fellas in, then I'll ask them for that Monday off. What can I say? God is infinitely kind and merciful and gracious. And I told him this morning on the way to school, I said, I'm proud of you. Or last night on the way home from work, I said, I'm proud of you. I'm proud that you would even consider that. And guess what happened? He goes to work yesterday, deciding to stay there, working those shifts until staff is hired, and they give him a new schedule. And that includes Mondays off. How great is our God? He didn't have to ask. He didn't have to ask after all. How great is our God? My son told me some months ago, he said, Mom, don't give up. I've been watching you, and your faith is making mine grow. He says, we're going to be all right. Folks, I give God the glory. I give him the praise. I thank him for all that he has done, which is soon to be manifested. I pray the same for you, that you will learn, as I am learning, to trust him more, to leave it all at his feet, and to let him do his perfect will in your lives. There's no perfection in me, all in him. But I want to tell you that his perfect love for his children will lift us from places where we don't belong and take us to places where we do belong. And all he's saying, like my son is saying in his own way, I want to be obedient. I want to be faithful. I want to trust, and I want to lean on you. And it's making him do the right things and to consider others before he considers himself. Until next time, this has been Dr. Judith. Do have a blessed day.